Ambassador Hank Cooper wrote a very intriguing article about Joe Biden's trip to the Middle East in Newsmax. You can see it on our website, londoncenter.org. But what exactly did this guy accomplish? Almost nothing. He maybe had a couple neat photo shoots, gave lip service to Israel, but the fact is, Iran is closer to having nuclear weapons, and that's a problem we have to deal with. And I don't trust the so-called free world as it stands now to stop it.
You don't sell him short by saying almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
So the I'll let my colleagues talk about the Sunni Shia Iran Saudi issue regarding nuclear weapons in a second. I want to just mention something regarding the hypocrisy of Joe Biden. So one of the things that has been documented by the left's paper of record, the New York Times, is something called oh my God, I just thought about this and I had the brain thought. The
New York Times scrambles your brain.
No, it does. Anytime I think about it, the disposition matrix. Google it. Disposition matrix. The disposition matrix was created by John Brennan when he was the chief architect of the assassination program under one Barack Obama. And as last time I checked, Biden was the vice president during that time. During that time, there were a number of people that Eric Holder basically confirmed under testimony that there were U.S. citizens on the assassination list. They did, in fact, assassinate at least two I know American citizens, Anwar al-Awlaki and his 16-year-old son, without any due process. So anytime I see Joe Biden going out and complaining to the Saudis about the assassination of Khashoggi, it's kind of like, are you joking? Are you kidding me? Because last time I checked, I think the Saudis, while they don't speak English, I think they do understand the New York Times, and everything I just laid out, they know as well as I do. So when Joe Biden shows up to say, I'm going to lecture you on assassinating one of your citizens, it's kind of like, really? Dude. And I can't believe they didn't go about embarrassing him publicly with the information I just discussed. Because if I were them, I would have. I would have said, oh, remember John Brennan? Remember this disposition matrix? Anwar al-Awlaki, assassinating citizens on foreign soil? Yeah, we didn't use a fancy Hellfire missile. Maybe we should have. But that's what the reality is that Joe Biden, more than any other president other than Barack Obama, has engaged and supported the assassination of U.S. citizens. By the way, in my judgment, is an impeachable offense and something that should still be investigated by whoever takes control of Congress. In my judgment, we, United States government, should never engage without a super clear reason. And I don't think of any reason this would do it to actually assassinate U.S. citizens. Anwar al-Awlaki and his son could have both been captured. We spend a lot of money on special operations stuff that can go out and snatch people. This is one case that clearly the people who authorized that murder, that assassination, is no better than what the Saudis did to Khashoggi. Just saying. I'm sorry I had to get that off my chest,
but Barry's pretty, and he gets away with it.
Barry is, well, Mike is pretty too. They're both kind of pretty, right? Mike, is it Michelle? Sorry, my mistake. I meant Michelle.
Hey, you don't want to get Joan,
Mike.
You don't want to get Joan Rivers.
I meant Michelle. Just saying.
Yeah, you don't want to get Joan Rivers.
I don't know what her adjectives are. He or she.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit here. But gentlemen, your thoughts on the Middle East trip here?
Well, if I can jump in, there's something that started under the Obama administration has been resumed under the Biden administration. Is this concept of dragging Iran back into the forefront of U.S. engagement in the Middle East? And folks need to roll back the clock here, go back to what happened in 1979 when the Shah, who was our ally, was deposed by the Ayatollah Khomeini, and then of course the Ayatollah Khamenei, who is now the Ayatollah, the supreme leader. But the fact of the matter is that Iran went off the rails. The government of Iran, from our perspective, went off the rails, and we can no longer deal with them. And there is this very strange, to me, desire that you hear about when you talk to folks in Washington, some of the wonks in Washington, about how we need to get the Iranians back into the mix, into the discussion. And the question is why? There is, for those folks who haven't paid a lot of attention to the Middle East, there is this bizarre, to us, schism in the Islamic world between the Shias and the Sunnis. And if you take any time to do a little research on Islam, that schism is very real. That is there is a real heresy there from the perspective of the majority of Muslims who are Sunni, and the Shias, who are about 1/10 to 1/8 of the Muslims in the world. There's about 120 million of them, most of them being in Iran. And for some reason, we feel, really Foggy Bottom, the State Department feels this overriding need to somehow engage the Iranians and bring them back into the fold, or some bizarre figure, fill in your appropriate phrase. And we have wasted 1 million man hours of labor on this effort over the last dozen years. And it's a good question, is why? What are we trying to do? It makes no sense. And meanwhile, the Iranians are bloody close to having their own nuclear arsenal.
Well, once again, there's been another announcement by one of their high officials today that they could have a nuclear bomb at any moment. And one of the interesting things to me is that the focus of the media tends to be very much on either Joe will succeed with his renewed JCPOA or he won't. Meanwhile, what are the implications of the Iranians getting the bomb? Well, amongst other ones that really matter are nuclear proliferation into then Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey. Who knows what's going on with their various programs?
Right.
For sure, the Saudis are terrified of the Iranians getting the bomb and have plans to do something about it.
Right, and you make a great point there, Tim, is that if the Iranians do get the bomb, and and we have had this discussion, Tim and I, is that when the Iranians came out and said that we have 60% enriched uranium,
Yep.
They were probably really saying is we have a weapon.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have made the first statement unless they already had one in the back pocket.
Right.
And just how you play cards. You don't play cards that way. You don't say I might have a weapon. If you did, someone would go and whack you.
Yep.
And so what we have here is some very clear signals being sent. Iran has a nuclear weapon. No one's doing anything to them. Ukraine had nuclear weapons. They gave them up. They've been invaded. They've been fighting a war against Russia for the last 8 years. What does that mean? What it means can be reduced to a simple line. Nothing says independence like your own nuclear arsenal.
Yep.
And
fair enough.
what we are doing here is we are setting up, we're setting up the planet for nuclear proliferation.
Yep.
That's what this foreign policy of the Obama administration and the Biden administration, that is going to be the legacy. We are setting up the world for nuclear proliferation.
So I always like to acknowledge the love-hate relationship we have with the Pakistanis. Obviously, my Pakistani friends and my British friends of Pakistani descent who are watching this will recognize that I am acknowledging Pakistan plays a very big but silent role in all of this, by the fact that I don't think the Pakistanis feel comfortable with nuclear Iran. And I think that's why they've invested in creating, I've been told, not saying it's true, that there are probably about a dozen warheads in Rawalpindi that are under Pakistani control, but you're really owned by the Saudi Arabians. And the moment there's a credible example, as Pete was just saying, the moment the Iranians actually acknowledge to any great deal of scrutiny that they have nuclear weapons, the Saudis are going to instantly be armed up, instantly. And in a matter of seconds, when
Oh, unfortunately, Chris, you're muted.
Yes, we got that. Yeah, he'll be.
Tony,
Tony's back now. Yeah,
I'm
Tony's
back.
back. now.
Anyway, but point being is that that's something that would happen instantly the moment we see a credible Iran nuclear program with weapons that can be delivered. So,
And I would, if I just add one thought here to all of our listeners and viewers, if you have a few minutes, I would encourage you to go look up the character A.Q. Khan. He is the grandfather of the Pakistani nuclear program, and dig a little into his relationship between his own government, between the Iranian government, the Syrian government, and the Chinese government.
right.
A.Q. Khan, Khan. Go look him up. There's a lot to be read about, but it's really important you understand how all these guys were working together, sometimes to cross purposes, but they were still working together.
And
no
no reference.
relation-
Just to add in one fact that is relevant to all of this, the majority of Muslims in Pakistan are Sunni.
Yes, and keep in
Yes.
mind that that the gentleman you referred to is in no way related to PDQ Bach. I don't think.
Or in relation to the Wrath of Khan of Star Trek 2.
There we go.
Not related.
So
But
there we go.
I just want to throw a opposing opinion out there, or an opposing assessment out there, which is that I think you can find out more about Iran's capacities by watching Israel's behavior than by watching Iran's behavior, and because Israel is very good at monitoring Iran's capacity, and the fact is that Israel keeps taking shots at them. They keep blowing up their plant through one form or another, and they keep shooting the top scientists in the streets of Tehran, which is really insane. So Israel is very alert and very engaged, and they're not sitting back and doing remote CIA analysis. They're on the game. So,
But people need to know that they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
yes, nobody's perfect.
Keep also in mind during this trip, President Biden, and since when did we as Americans allow our leader to put his tail between his legs and beg other countries to produce goods? I mean, okay, it didn't happen in those words, but in fact, we were watching President Joe Biden virtually or nearly begging Saudi Arabia to produce more oil.
He did
because-
beg, and they
Right,
said no.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. But let's put it, if you're in Saudi Arabia's shoes, heck, hey, we sell our oil. We're doing fine. Our gas prices are still nice. Their people are paying very low prices. Whoever's allowed to drive over there, but that's a different story. But the fact is, it looks bad. We were only a few years ago an exporter of oil, an energy independent country. And again, it only took a couple of years of poor policy to render us into this position.
No, and the Saudis are smart enough to know. They don't say no because of some calculation with their oil output. They say no because they can't say no. And
Right.
they do that.
And we're
So-
hitting the interesting thing that, as well, that it is an incredibly complicated scene, not least because we're also currently sanctioning Russia on their exports of oil. If they actually stop their production for a few months, the price of oil is likely to quadruple.
So everybody knows that the dollar is now is a fiat currency. Does anybody know what our currency is actually based on? It's the petrodollar. Nixon, this is back to another bad decision by a conservative. Nixon decided to dump the gold standard and essentially tie our entire economic future, the dollar's future, to the petrodollar. Basically, that's one of the reasons you see this complexity that they're referring to. Basically, back in the 70s, despite everything that was happening, we basically said, look, we're going to detach the dollar from from any metal, gold, whatever, to the petrodollar and let it be. And so that's why the United States dollar is the currency used for all transactions regarding oil and gas and resources. That's what we're counting on. We're counting on that. I think that's now being jeopardized by the Russians because, hey, why do we use the U.S. currency? China wants to have their currency dominate. Russia wants their. And by the way, the ruble's doing darn good. Last time I checked, as a matter of fact, It's
Yep.
it's doing way better than good. It's doing marvelous. And euro is down to one to one. I've never heard of that before with the U.S. dollar. But it seems to me that the fact that we tied our entire future to the energy sector through this us becoming the petrodollar is a very dangerous thing, and I think may result in some very bad things coming up. So.
But it's a compounded dangerous thing when you A, tie the dollar to the petrol, and B, give up your petrol domination.
Thank you for watching this clip of Thought to Action Live presented by the Herb London Center for Policy Research. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the big red bell for updates so you know when we're putting anything out. Also, check out our Teespring store and our website, londoncenter.org. The Teespring store has all sorts of pretty cool stuff we put out there. We have new t-shirt designs coming out soon and much more. The link is in our description. You can watch our full live stream on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/thought2action. That's patreon.com/thought2action. Once again, that link is also in the description. Also, as a member of our Patreon page, you can see sneak previews of our programs, watch them before anybody else. Exclusive content will be available, and you'll have access to our full Ask Us Anything sessions where we answer your questions. Once again, thank you very much for watching this clip of our live stream. Stay informed and make your day a great one.